find you another one. I'm like, well, man, that's the first one I can get in with. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna go anyway. So I go up in there, and as soon as he starts talking, and when he says no more talking, no more meat, I said, I see why my buddy don't like you. I understand exactly, because my buddy now, he likes meat, and he loves his coffee. And I told him one day, we're going mission trips and stuff together. I'm like, Terry, I'm glad you ain't no drinker. I said, because, man, I'll be drunk. I said, because you don't want to drink coffee. You don't want to drink alone. And it'd be 3 o'clock in the morning. He said, he get a cup. He going to bring you a cup. Here you go. There's your cup of coffee. And he drinks it black. And I'm telling you, it don't matter all day long. And so he's like,
why do you put creamer in it?
I just like to knock a little color off of it.
No,
not the dark. I like it the color of my skin.
Oh yeah, brown.
But now I drink it black. I love it black. But I like it. It's not.
Well, why do you have the creamer put in first?
Because it mixes better. You see, I don't need to stir it. What if you get a dirty spoon? You get a dirty spoon.
Do you clean when you eat forks at a restaurant? Do you clean the tongs inside before you eat them? I mean, do you wipe it off with a napkin?
Man, yes, I do. But I got a pet peeve. I have to tell you.
Would you say you're germ phobic?
No, because I am a germ.
Is it hot in here?
No, I'm good. So you take I don't know, you go in these restaurants and they lay them old forks out, and they're old. It's cheap silverware. Yeah. Unless you go to a nice restaurant, it's cheap silverware. And I hate those old forks.
Oh,
and those spoons where they're just straight.
Yeah, I can't stand
it. It's like how you can't get no leverage when you want to eat with that.
And plus, when they bring them and they set them on the table, and I'm thinking, did they completely? I mean, this was before COVID. I was like that. I always lay my silverware on the napkin.
I'll tell you.
But I'm not a germ.
But see, when we come out, my mom raised 7 kids by herself. We didn't have no napkins.
7
Son,
kids. You know,
you eat whatever. You know what you eat. You didn't, man. You didn't worry about germs.
Well, but it was your family.
Dude, we lived off of germs, man. Man, we had a rule. It hit the ground.
5-second rule.
No, 5-second rule. What do you mean? No, you pick it up and you
7
eat
kids.
It. Yeah, you raised 7 kids by yourself. Just imagine.
I've got 2 and a wife, and it's almost unbearable.
It's hard. It ain't easy. But stop and think about this. If you're raising 7 kids by yourself, and you're on very small income, and welfare on top of it, well, you go to the store, you know what? You get 1 chicken, you have to make stuff last. And 7 plus 1 is 8. How many pieces of chicken?
So you don't
How many pieces are on the chicken?
So you don't really eat chicken. You eat like chicken casserole or something.
No, because you afford the crackers to go in it
and
everything else. No, just fry up that chicken, man. And
7 kids. That would be
7 kids.
That would be 14 years of having babies from 0 to 2.
My mom's 85. She just turned 85.
She in good health?
No.
What's she got?
She's in a nursing home now. She's
in Cleveland?
No, Chattanooga. No, she don't want to move here. I wanted her to move here.
How often you go to Chattanooga to see her?
We can't get in right now. Well, today they just lifted it, so.
Is that right?
So I'll be able to get in there and see her.
Will you go next week?
As soon as they say I can go, I'm going. Just go see her through the window. The last time I seen her was probably about 3 months ago, through the window. And then they said, "That's it." But that's rough though still, because you know where she's at, you're standing there and you're standing in the grass and the bushes are right beside you, mosquitoes eating you alive, and you're trying to talk to your mama, you're slapping the mosquitoes, say 1 second, I'm going to run back
Plus, what if it's cold?
Oh, well, you deal with it. But you know it's getting ready to turn hot, or pollen, so I'm hoping they'll let you come inside.
Well, they've got to lift it soon. I've been watching that world meter, and the cases are really coming down. You haven't had the shot yet, right?
And I don't think I'm going to wait. I'm going to see how many people drop off the face of the earth taking that shot.
I'm going to wait
I don't think, just personally. I mean, and other people might feel different about it. I don't think enough research went in it. I do not think they got enough research on it. You don't know what the long-term effect of this thing's going to be. Make sure,
Isn't that crazy?
You know, but that magic stuff, I'm thinking, why would I take it or take anything?
Well, if I'm okay, I'm okay. Isn't that Murphy's Law? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Just
Maybe?
leave it alone. But sometimes some things you might want to make it a little better if you can. If you're sure you can.
But let's go back to the 7 kids.
7 kids.
What are the ages?
Oh, son, let's see. I am next to the baby, so I'll be 61 in July. My baby sister.
Well, you don't look 61.
Well, thank you, but hey, if
You
I
look
don't
younger
shave
than me.
this, then I don't shave that.
You got any secrets or just
Secrets?
to looking young?
No, man. You know what they say about black people, don't you? I always look good. That's just, look, we don't age there. We don't age hard,
yeah. Maybe the dark skin doesn't show it.
I feel it.
But your physique's not even. You
But
don't
I
look.
feel
You
it.
don't have a stomach.
I
Or,
feel it. Oh yeah, I got a little.
Not really.
I got one.
Well, how tall are you?
6'1".
So I'm 5'8.5" and a quarter.
But you don't see. A lot of times,
Wonder why that is.
I don't. Hey, I think it's just the
Now,
way.
when people are tan, they look better. Maybe that's part of the thing. Maybe it's the darker color. But now you're next to the baby, so you're 61.
So my sister be 60 in July also. Her birthday's on the 22nd. Mine's on the 23rd. So on the 22nd, we're the same age. And then so I got a brother that just turned. My next brother turned 62. No, he turned 61 this past December.
So that's 3.
No, January.
That was 3 in a row.
December. That's 3 in a row. Then my sister. Then I got a sister that passed away. That she would have been 2 years older than him. And then I got a brother who get ready to turn 63. That's my oldest brother. And then I got a sister. She won't tell us, but I think.
Will your mother
you know
tell?
what? She's pushing retire. She's already there.
Will she tell?
Who, my mother?
Yeah. How old the daughter is?
Well, you know the way women are. They gonna keep some of that stuff a secret. For years, my mom always said she's 45. For years.
So now, when did y'all come to Cleveland?
I'm the only one in Cleveland. I come to Cleveland.
Do you remember the first day we met?
I remember. Matter of fact, I was just thinking about that. I'm thinking.
We won't tell where I work.
I'm gonna say I know where you were.
We won't say.
No, Why can't we say?
That's a bad
Classic
part.
Cleaner.
Yeah,
That's where we met. Now, and I was just thinking on the way over here because I passed right by Classic Cleaners coming. When did they open up Classic Cleaners?
That was about 87.
So that's when I met.
But you were washing windows.
I was washing because I was cleaning the windows at Classic Cleaners. That's where I met you.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this, because I took my clothes
I can
there
tell you
too.
the day I first got, man, it was rough in Cleveland.
Tell me about why Cleveland? I mean, you're the only one from Cleveland. How do you end up in Cleveland?
Well, here's what happened. I had lost my job, and this is back, and I don't know, and I think that presidents, it's a hard job being a president, but Jimmy Carter was in office. So that kind of tells you.
Yeah, it was.
You know what? If you started a business back then, it was tough. It was tough. But anyway, you could not find a job. If I remember, there was a restaurant on Brainerd Road called, I think it was Fifth Quarter, and they had an opening for a dishwasher. Man, there'd be 500 people lined up on Brainerd Road.
That's where everybody went to the prom.
Yeah, just for that one job, man. Just for that job. And you couldn't buy a job. You couldn't buy a job at McDonald's. So I couldn't get a job anywhere, so I had this buddy that I went to church with, and he says, you like to clean some carpet? I'm like, sure. Now, the place that I clean the carpet was on Ringo Road.
Now, because you were living in Chattanooga.
I was living in Chattanooga. And
Now let's go back. How would you get to Chattanooga? Yeah.
Because I was little. My mama bought me Chattanooga.
Why
My
did
dad had got out of service, so we moved into
What branch?
the Army. So we moved in with my grandfather, 1-bedroom house. My grandfather moved out in the shop. So you got seven
Was he
kids.
from
seven
Cleveland?
kids sleeping in one bed.
God.
I'm serious. That's on Fisk Avenue. Matter of fact, the house is still there.
What avenue?
Fisk. Fisk.
Fisk Avenue.
Yeah.
And you lived there till you was how old?
We lived there probably until I was, I had to be 8 because I can remember I went to Shepherd Elementary. I used to fall asleep on the bus coming home. And I remember getting ran over by the mailman in front of the house. I was a crazy kid.
You mean really run over?
Oh, yeah, by the mail truck, And then so we moved over on Randolph Street. That's over in the Fort Cheatham area, and we call ourselves the Wood Rats over there. We were no but a bunch of gangster babies. They come out with that movie, or what was it, Bebe's Kids?
Yeah,
Remember Bebe's Kids?
I don't remember that.
Well, anyways, movie, we don't die, we multiply.
Oh.
And so in that neighborhood, we just multiply. There's a bunch of us.
Back then you could run all over town.
Oh,
It was
you didn't worry
okay.
about nothing. Well, you know what? There was still some crazy people out there.
But nobody talked about it.
No. But what happened was I couldn't get a job. So this guy introduced me. He was from Iowa. Introduced me to window washing. So and believe it or not, man, I just picked it up natural.
So you're like 25?
No, I was like 19 at the time. I picked it up. It was natural. But I always cleaned windows when I was little. I loved cleaning the windows at our house. I get the newspaper and I rub them. We couldn't afford Windex, but we could get vinegar, and I get that vinegar and water and clean them things.
Windows are not, it's an art to clean
It
the
is.
windows.
It really is. It really is. So I made agreement with this guy that helped kind of get me kicked off. I was going to go to Knoxville and actually start my business.
You decided,
Not Chattanooga.
You decided I'm going to clean windows for a living?
I'm going to clean windows for a living. It was so natural. So I built this 6440 Connell line. And I was going to drive to Knoxville. I was going to move to Knoxville and start my business there. And on the way up to Knoxville, I run into Cleveland.
What, to get gas?
Well, no, I stopped there. No, I couldn't afford no gas. I'm telling you, it was rough.
Oh, you were riding the bus?
No, I was in my van.
Oh.
So I stopped here, and I stopped over on Wildwood Avenue. Because I come the back road, and I stopped on Wildwood Avenue, and I remember, that Quick Clean or Squeak, it sits right on the corner there. I think it's still there, I think. Right across from where Kentucky Fried Chicken sits. There's a Cleaners right across the street.
Yeah, that was a long time
That's
ago.
the first
yeah.
place I went in.
Yeah.
That guy was so mean to me. I'm sure he's dead and gone, so I can talk about him.
So you stopped there and said, I want to clean your windows?
He told me, get out of there, don't never come back again. Back in that day, I'm black, he's white,
Yeah.
and I don't throw no rocks
Yeah,
at it
yeah.
like that. But man, I remember, and I didn't think nothing about it, you know. It's like, get out of here, boy, don't you come back in here. But I was crazy. I come back anyway, because I was taught, you know what, you never give up. So I come back here. I didn't tell you don't come back
So
here.
you just stopped in Cleveland?
So I stopped in Cleveland, so I decided, you know what, I'll see if I can get some jobs in
Well,
Cleveland.
did he ever let you clean the windows?
No. So the first job I got,
Where were you staying?
in Chattanooga. I drive back and forth on Fisk Avenue.
But why not clean windows in Chattanooga?
Because I made a deal with my buddy, I went clean windows in
Oh,
Chattanooga. One of the
I see,
things
yeah.
I won't do.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Because I'll be honest about it, not bragging, but I was pretty stinky good, man. I had customers all the way down in Calhoun, Georgia, all over Chattanooga. Matter of fact, I was doing part of his route work in Chattanooga, so I'm like, you know what?
You thought this was better than washing dishes, right?
It's a whole lot better. At least I was good at it. So what happened was the first job I got was at Watson's Food Store.
On Wildwood?
No, they didn't. No, that's all. It was the village where the Chamber of Commerce is right now. Well, and I think I got $15, and I had to take down all the banners. Remember when they used to paint their advertisement, hanging on the banner? The guy paint them every week, and he'd bring them in. Well, I had to go in to take them all down.
Was that comparable to what the other guy was getting in Chattanooga, or were you just trying to get your foot in the door?
That's just what I was able to negotiate the price to. But, you know, $15, and I had this little red wagon because I couldn't afford the gas to drive up and down Key Street. So I put my bucket in that red wagon, and I'll pull that thing up the road, man. I had so many people tell me, get out of here, get out of here. But I would come up, the only job I had to do was Watson. And I did not know that the rest of Cleveland exists. When I first saw the mall, I'm thinking, what in the world?
You thought that was the end of...
I thought it was paradise, man.
Yeah.
The only place I thought the Village Mall was it. That's where Cleveland stopped. Mm-hmm. Well, really, because I didn't have any gas, really, to go any further. And so I think the Watson let me clean all three of their stores. They had one at Tip Top, and then they had the one on Wildwood. And I claimed that was my big money maker. I believe the first year in business, I made $98.
What'd you do the rest of the time?
Knock on doors.
Did you work for the guy in Chattanooga Steel?
No, I was done. I made $98 the first year. Matter of fact, when I showed my wife, I still got an old book where I used to keep everything and write it down, because we write it down every week. $3 on that job, $3 on this job, and she'll just start crying. She says, "That's all you used to make?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, that's what I used to make." I said, "That's what it used to be, you know." But you know what? It was tough because you had to prove yourself. You know.
Did you just keep knocking doors?
Oh yeah. I'd knock on them doors, and remember where I think it was called. Was it Sambo's?
Sambo's.
You remember where it's at?
Yeah.
What's in there now? Say.
Chinese restaurant.
That's right. That's right. Well, they let me clean the windows on it, and there was a guy in town, and a lot of people, if they're listening, they'll probably remember D4. D4 used to be a window washing service here. He's passed away, but anyway, I remember, man, I come on the scene. It's like, and please, anybody listening to this, I don't want them to think, you know what? Look, I ain't racist. I don't believe anybody was, you know. But it was just that during that time, and I remember him. So I come in. Well, I'm a young black man.
Not even from here.
I'm not even from here.
Yeah.
And you know what? And it's predominantly white town.
Yeah.
And so if you were washing windows, then you worked for the other man. You didn't own you didn't own it yourself. You worked. And so I remember that old boy walking up and telling me, "You better get out of here. You better never show back up again." He threatened me, man. But I was so crazy. I'm like, you know what, man? I'm from Fort Cheatham, man. I'm coming back. And I can remember, man, is that guy really? Is he gonna beat me up? Or? And he showed me his pistol one time.
Is that right?
Well, he was losing business, and so I guess it just touched him. You know.
Did you get sort of scared or nervous?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, well, if you're a young black guy, and you know what, and you got no family here, you know nobody here, and you got this guy telling you that he's gonna kill you or he's gonna beat you up or whatever, you know. And threaten you, tell you don't be taking his business, you know.
Well, when did you say, I've got enough business in Cleveland, I can move here?
I didn't wait for that. I just realized, you know what, this is where I'm going to stay. And I remember I had a good friend here that I met, Mike Daly. Mike Daly had moved out of his parents' house. And we made a deal. And I said, "Hey, man, I need to move, at least have a phone here so I can plant something where people could start calling."
Yeah.
So he says, well, so I made arrangements with the phone company, and he let me put my phone in his place. And I just checked the messages. And I come by and check the messages. That's the way it was. I didn't get no calls, man. I mean, because who am I? You know,
But
because it takes time.
So you were living in Chattanooga.
Live in Chattanooga, and then so
but you had a Cleveland number.
I had a Cleveland number, and then I rented a place from Toby McKenzie on Country Club Drive, 1-bedroom apartment.
2-story.
It's
Two
those
story,
two-story
yeah,
units,
yeah.
right there behind Bradley,
Yeah.
back there. I rented that from Toby McKenzie, and then when I really couldn't take it anymore because it was pretty rough back there.
It's still rough.
It's a whole lot rougher
Yeah.
now because I've drove through there,
Yeah.
you know. Because I think you got some
I got
units
some over,
back
yeah.
on the.
Yeah. Mine aren't as
And
rough.
I've cleaned them
Yeah.
for you, you know.
Oh, that's right. You have.
So when you first built them, so I come around there one day. This been probably a couple of years ago. Somebody asked me to do an estimate over that area. I'm like, my goodness, it's crazy over here. So and then Toby McKenzie built those units over on 20th Street.
20th Street.
So I moved in over here. Son, I thought I just made it.
That was a good location.
Good location.
It was sort of a not state of the art, but it was
nice.
It was nice.
It was nice.
Yeah.
Still a 1-bedroom. No, matter of fact, 2-bedroom. But they were nice. Carpet,
Yeah.
clean, new appliances.
Yeah.
You know, nice windows. Matter of fact, I cleaned the windows on them. You know, Toby was good
Yeah,
to me.
he
So I cleaned all of Toby's windows, you know. Anything that he built, I cleaned it, you know. So, and then so from there, I ended up buying a house from Tom and his brother, Brad. You know,
Brad,
Brad's
yep,
passed away.
yep.
So I bought my first house on Ball Street from Brad. And from there, you know what, here I am. You know, so
What did Brad die of?
a heart attack.
Heart attack. I remember that.
Yeah.
I was young.
Brad, you know, they developed Colony Square, and Brad had a computer store in there.
But he was into real estate too.
Yeah, it was Cake Brothers. Yeah. Him, his dad,
Yeah.
and his brother, Tom. And
Yeah, I
Tom
guess
still
next
is,
to
yeah.
Carol, Max Carroll's
Max
place.
Carroll.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Max,
Yeah.
man. There's
How many?
all these guys, man. They just played a big role in my life, and we're still friends today. I know Max.
Do you
passed
think
away.
that's one reason you came here? You'd started to get to know people.
No. I come here for business. Really, and I didn't have nothing. I grew up having nothing.
But starting out washing windows, that's like saying I'm gonna make a living cleaning gutters. I mean, you've actually made a living.
Man, I'm crazy, man.
But I mean, I don't even. You've made a living cleaning
windows, yeah, for 40 years.
Yeah. And you've never. Have you ever punched a clock?
When I was younger, my first job I had.
It had to have been first few years.
Cleaning windows?
Yeah. I mean, that you had a
Oh,
regular
yeah.
job.
My first job I had, I worked for the NYC. That's the Neighborhood Youth Corps in Chattanooga. So we just worked from in the morning to maybe about 3 o'clock.
But
And it's government funded. But my first job I got, I worked at the Holiday Inn. I was 15, and I did not like cleaning streets with the Neighborhood Youth Corps. We used to stand and cut trees and clean out the gutters, all that stuff on Hicks and Pike, and try not to get run over by all those crazy drivers coming through there. And you're on the back of a truck with a bunch of other crazy youth on top of it, and somebody's driving it that don't know how to drive sometime, and you know, just all sorts of things happen. And I was like, I'm gonna get a job. And I remember calling the Holiday Inn it's where Mountain View Ford sit. And it used to be a Holiday Inn sit right there on that corner. And I remember calling them, telling them that I'm going to be 16 on the 23rd and I want a job. And so the lady says, well, come on down here and fill out an application. Now, I had to catch the bus to go down there because I had no car.
And they used to ask you then, do you have good transportation? Remember they used to ask that question?
No, they didn't ask how I was going to get there. No.
Could you work? I worked at Cook's when I was 15.
Oh, well, they probably care how you was going to get there. They didn't care how hey, look, they just needed somebody, and I needed the job. If you showed up, you was good. Just show up.
What'd you do there?
So believe it or not, I was the salad maker. And there's this lady that really just took a liking to me. I turned 16, and I remember the innkeeper at the Holiday Inn, which that would be the general manager. She says, "Well, do you know how to cook?" I'm like, "Whoa, yeah," because all 7 of us knew how to cook, because that's the way you survive. Because Mom was at work, you better know how to cook and wash dishes. I'm like, "Well, yeah," and it says, "Well, would you like to be our salad maker?" Look, I did not know what a salads was. 7 kids, you don't have lettuce and tomatoes and all that stuff. So I'm like, well, no, but I'll learn. So they took me in there and they showed me how to make salad. So I bet we had this long salad bar, and I made potato salad, tossed salad, fruit salad, coleslaw, you name it. They showed me how to make it all. And I'd come up there early morning, man. I'd be slinging that hash and getting it out, because you had to have it out by 11 o'clock.
That's not long, is it?
No. So you know what we made? We didn't pull potato salad out of the bag, man. You peeled the potatoes and you boiled them and you cut them. You cut everything
That's
that went in that
2 to 3 hour process in itself.
Yeah, but you did all the salad. You know, you grated the cabbage to make that coleslaw. You cut.
Well, weren't you in school? Weren't you in school?
Huh?
Were you in high school?
Oh yeah. I made good money too.
So, but I mean, you went there during the summer?
Well,
or what?
I worked there during the summer, and then in the winter, once I went to school, I go in and work at night. And I can remember I took DECA, and that was kind of like a business class, teach you how to get a job. And I remember this teacher I had, she set up the cash registers, and she says, you know what, they have that fake money in them, and you're going to learn how to work. And I remember, fake money, I had a pocket full of money because I get tips when I'm down there also. Especially on the weekend, they let me be the bellboy. So, man.
Yeah, I was a bellboy at the chalet.
Man, you get good tips. So I come back, man, and I pull out big old white, and I put it in the cash register. And the teacher goes, "What do you think you're doing?" I'm like, you shouldn't have all that money. I'm like, she said, "You'll never get a job." I said, "I really got a job. I know how to make money. I know how to make money, you know." And so I think that same attitude
how would you
come
say,
along when I go to Cleveland Wash Windows.
You know, getting a phone in your friend's apartment so that you could have a local number and going out and drumming up business. You do know how to make money.
Yes, I do. But I believe at the same time, man, I need the good Lord watching over me. I've been blessed, man.
Who do you attribute your work ethics to? Would it be your father or your mother?
Well, I really didn't know my daddy, so I can't contribute to him. My mom worked hard, so I would say yes. And then, man, Sadie Millsaps. Sadie, she called me Buddy when I first met her, and she was a little lady that's just near and dear to me. She took me under her wings and showed me the ropes at the Holiday Inn and how to really make something of yourself. And Sadie, she was an older black lady, and she had a daughter named Arthur May, and just darling. People used to drive from Cleveland to eat her cooking. So she really instilled in me as a young black man, hey, this is what you need to do if you're going to be successful. And no matter what situation you get in, here's how you behave yourself.
Did you know she was teaching you that then, or did it come later?
No, because she told me she was. She treated me just like I was her son. I mean, she loved on me, and she don't do this, you know. And a couple of times I almost got fired down there, and man, and I'll cry, or the innkeeper come through there, if we got a new one, then they. You know what? They were kind of hard on you. And instead of you making the salads, you're going to start washing dishes. Yeah. And I was like, and I remember she says, "Buddy, don't worry about it. Just go back there and wash those dishes. It'd be all right. It'd be all right." And man, she just loved me through that. So it taught me that if I fell on hard times, it won't last forever. It'd be all right. And I've had customers. See, here's what taught me. Because I have some customers that are hard, man.
Tell me about it.
And at that point, I can remember say, buddy, it'd be all right. It'd be all right. It'd be all right. You press forward.
What's all right about it? It's just going to be temporary.
It's going to go away. It's temporary. Man, I've been on jobs at some big corporations, and they have a turnover, bring in another manager, and I remember just thinking, and they just, especially when you get a new guy and they get cocky.
Yeah, he's wanting to make a statement.
Yeah, and he's going to show everybody he's in charge, and you know what, and a lot of times the window washer probably catches the breath of the storm because it's like, we really don't need you. We can do this ourselves. I'm thinking, you guys, there's nothing coming. You'll figure that out. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be here when you leave because I've seen the turnovers already. And the only thing I need to do is just keep my mouth shut.
Because you're going to outlast him.
I'm going to outlast him. Just keep my mouth shut. Just keep my mouth shut, and you know what? Keep your nose to the grind. Do what you're there for. I'm there to clean those windows and also make a living.
And that's it.
I won't be friends with you, and I will be your friend. Now I've learned, you know what, that my business become a ministry. I can make inroads, share the gospel message, people love on them, but at the end of the day, you gotta get paid for what you
do. Do you have like 50 regular customers, or what would you call a regular customer?
A regular customer,
like once a month.
Lord, I would call a monthly customer a regular customer, but I don't call them customers anymore.
But how do you know?
I used to call them customers.
But how do you know that? How do you know if somebody's got you set up on a regular basis? What reminds you that tomorrow is there?
Well,
do you have a calendar?
A computer. Thank God for computers. Matter of fact, I was the first window washer. Matter of fact, I wrote my first program. I wrote the first program on the DOS system. Mm-hmm.
Where you went enter and it go.
No, I actually, but I had to go in and manually, and I didn't know nothing about computing. But I would get the book on the DOS system and figure out how this equals this and this to get this to do this and put the names in. Yeah, so, and I just, you know what, I had a computer program on the little floppy disk, and I slide that thing in, and I had them customers on there, and this is how much money I print off an invoice. I'm talking about 35 years ago. I was printing off an invoice with no other window washers doing that. But and I remember one time Forrest Preston offered me a job. Not to wash the windows, but he wanted me to go work there. And
was that tough not to do?
What's that tough?
Not to go work for him?
Yeah, I've had a couple of offers. But that was, but at that time I'm thinking, I don't want to be your window washer. If I don't want a glass ceiling. I remember him taking me in there and introduced me to John O'Brien. And I said, well, I want his job, which I already knew John O'Brien. I want his job. In other words, if this is where it's at, I don't want your job because you're the man, but I want to get as close as I can get. And I remember he says, well, you need to go back to school. I'm thinking, well, okay, I can do that. He says, well, you know anything about computers? I'm thinking, man, I built my own program just so I can schedule my workers. Which, thank God for QuickBooks now, so that.
Does QuickBooks now schedule that?
I still schedule it. You still got to feed the information in, and I have to remember.
So next week, you know who you got to go.
Yeah, I know what we're doing every Monday and every other Monday.
Boy, that's a lot.
I could tell you. I could tell you what's going to happen, and that's not counting the residential that comes into play from calls and so forth.
Yeah.
But here's what we'll do. This coming Monday, we'll clean Freddy's. We clean Freddy's every Monday. No, you just mark it down. If you pull down.
What time do you get there?
Jeffrey get there probably about 8:30, or as soon as they just get it knocked out, and then every other.
And then what?
And then we'll do a house. We got a house schedule because our normally Mondays are late. Because when the COVID hit, man, it hit us hard. It because we clean a lot of restaurants and people are fearful of you coming into the restaurants.
Oh, yeah, I
and
forgot about
so we were doing, even McAllister's down on the end, a couple of others that we were doing. It's like, you know what, we need to time out, hold off, So, but Freddy's is still done, every week. And then so we would run from there. Every other week we do the hibachi grill.
I ate there for lunch.
So we go from there to hibachi, and then we'll go do a house.
Well, hibachi's got all windows, aren't they?
Oh yeah, it's all windows.
It's all windows.
So what we do at hibachi, one time we'll clean all of the inside and outside. The next week we'll do all the outside, and then we'll do the lower portion of the
How
inside.
do you know to do that? I mean, how do you know?
That's the deal I made with the guy.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what? We just keep it on schedule, man.
So you got it somewhere. You got a schedule that says you don't write it down.
No, well, it's on the computer. So when I
Oh.
go in and print the invoices,
So you go to 5 places a day, or
oh no. We would do sometimes we can, like this past Friday, and this happens every other Friday. We'll do the Chef, Gondolier, Premier Tire, Gobble. We'll do Venda My Girl. We'll do. It just reminded me. I forgot to write an invoice for them. I'm going to do it. Just remind me. That's how I'm going through
Yeah.
it. And we'll do the what's the hair place over by Gondolier? Anyway, we'll do that, and then we'll do and Angelo's, or there's another little beauty shop over on Tasso. We'll
what
do
if
that.
it rains?
Man, we're like the mailman.
Just
As
go
long
ahead.
as we're not going to get soaking wet, we're going to wash them. And then we'll do the check and the cash, the store portion, and the village bake shop. That happens that's every other week. Now this Tuesday,
Any time during the week?
no, it's on Friday.
On Friday.
On Friday. And this Tuesday, here's what we'll do. We'll do Town Square. We'll do the bake shop down there on the basket. We'll do Perry's Paddle. We'll do Central Drugs. We'll do Panera. And then we'll get it'll be, if they're on the schedule coming up this time, it'd be Turkey Pharmacy. And we'll just run through that.
Does the guy with you know where you're going, or do you
Yeah,
have
he
to-
knows. Sometimes he says, if I forget to print one, he says, hey, you didn't give a ticket for so-and-so.
What if you've had some help along the?
Oh, yeah, I got guys.
Isn't it hard to break new help in?
Yeah, I wish I could find some younger guys to come along and want to work. There's a society of people or group of people coming up that don't wanna
care,
work. They
do
don't
they?
want to work.
And they don't really know how to do anything.
No.
You
they
notice
really
that?
Don't.
They don't
really
know
don't.
how to
They
do
don't
it.
even want the check, man. Literally, I got a check sitting on my desk from about 3 years ago that the guy never showed back up to get it. They just don't want to work. There's more work out there than you can shake a stick.
If
at.
you wanted to work, you couldn't take all the job.
I turn them down, really. You
just had the one guy.
No, there's Joe. There's Joe that works for me. Joe Kemp, Joe Kempson.
Yeah.
Joe and Jeffrey Brown. Those are my window washers, which I wash also. Even though they say I stay in the bed all
Yeah.
the time. You know how they treat the
Yeah,
owner.
yeah.
You just drink coffee, ride
Yeah.
around, don't do nothing. I'm like, well, late at night you're not taking calls, or early in the
Yeah.
morning you're not doing those
Or
things.
doing the invoices.
Yeah, that's a lot to do.
Do you? So their schedule is to go do all the windows, and you just help to fill in.
Yeah, either I'm doing someone's house, like when you built those units over by Lee.
Yeah.
I was there. I was there cleaning them,
Because they were on their regular schedule.
Yeah, and they'll come over there also, Well,
Do y'all have cell phones or to
I call them on their phone and just,
say, hey, we're over, need help over here, so y'all will work.
Well, a lot of times we already know, hey, when you get done with that, you come here. And a lot of the route work is done by 12. It just depends.
So like from 1 o'clock on ish, It's
Yeah.
the other stuff.
Yeah, I would say that in the morning is prime time.
Do you get people?
It's restaurant time because
That's right.
on Thursday, every Thursday we clean both of the Chick-fil-A's, and
Because-
every other week we got Aubrey's that tax in on that.
Because you a restaurant, you need to get it kind of when their downtime is.
Yeah, you want to get it before they open. You
Do you still get more? You don't? Do you go out and hunt more business, or does it just?
No, Dee, I have not knocked on doors in years. It's more of a word of mouth or.
What's incredible that you're able to keep you and two other guys.
Well, there's more. We also do some cleaning. So there's 7 of us that.
God, so you
There's
got like
7.
a seven person.
Yeah,
payroll?
and some of them are just part time, but there's
Yeah.
7. There's 7 of us now.
You
Now there's 4 that don't clean windows. You know.
Yeah. In other words, you got 7 people that you in your force that you could.
Yeah. And you know, I wish that there was more people. I mean, if I had more people that would be willing to go to work, man,
But how many?
I wouldn't have to turn down nothing, you know.
but
Oh,
it's
just
hard
the
to manage.
residential.
It's hard to manage 7 people, or 5,
Well,
or 2. I mean, what's the point? Where is the point where you say I need to get a manager? See, I don't want to get that big.
Well, see, I think I'm there now, which I want to train Joe to kind of take over some stuff, and really, because at my age, you kind of like, do I have to do everything? And you know, when you're in business, the hardest thing to do is relinquish
Oh yeah.
and trust somebody
Yeah.
else that they would do. But you have to trust that they would do a good job. They may not do it just like you.
That's really tough. Isn't it?
And you'll never grow beyond unless you learn to trust somebody.
And if you weren't the kind of person that was like that, then you wouldn't have gotten there anyway.
That's right.
So it's really a tough situation.
You know, like that song, Let It Go, Let It Go.
I just can't let it
It's
go.
hard to let it go and just say, hey, man, I'm going to trust you with that. Like, I thought I had to do everything. I used to be the one to drive to Chattanooga and do Old Charlie's in Chattanooga on Charlottesville Road and then run over and do the Old Charlie's or do the Panera there at Northgate and
Yeah.
then do the Old Charlie's also
Yeah.
on Hickson in the same day.
Around customers.
No, have it done before 11.
Oh. Golly.
There's things that we just,
And days that are hot.
when
You
it's
know,
hot,
about 10 or 11 o'clock in the
son,
summer,
you better be.
you got to already be on it. You ever get out and say, man, it's going to be hot tomorrow. I'm going to start early.
Yeah, but you just learn to suck it up.
Do you think?
I'd rather be hot than be cold, though.
Me too.
Man,
I
on them
can't
cold
stand being
days,
cold.
man,
I can't
I'm
stand
telling
it.
you, I remember when I used to do Watson, that I used to have ice on my pants, that it was so cold. So cold. It's not as cold as it used to be. So anything about 30, I'm good,
Yeah.
man, right now. But
36, 38 's
man,
okay.
I'm good. I'm good. But when you get,
But I'd still rather it be 90 as 36.
Yeah.
When you,
yeah.
I'm more of a hot
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, I could take the heat, but I found out the older I get, the more of a wimp I become dealing with the heat.
Do you think if you or even me had tried to get bigger, it could have gone sour? That we had to keep it at this level to still be okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I can't let go of stuff to do too much.
Right. Well,
I'm guessing you drive by and say, yeah, they did clean the windows, even though you know they did.
yeah.
You,
No, I don't. I don't even drive by to see. I've learned to just.
you call them and say, did
Well,
you get done?
Well, the thing. Oh yeah, they come in every day, and I trust the guys I work. They're almost like family.
Do you have a place that you operate out
Yeah,
of now?
down there where the old volunteer used to be.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I was the first one in that place when Tom Cate
Yeah.
renovated that thing. Him and William Jenkins owned
Yeah. How big a place you got?
it. I got 2 bay areas where we'll store all of our equipment and everything, and then I got, I guess, I don't know what size.
You ever get a job? You ever get?
I'm never hardly in there. I don't just sit in there. I'm like,
go once a
I'm
day.
out looking at. I go in the morning and I'm out there. Sometimes I might just drive straight by. I might print the invoices at my house and hit the road. You know, so I'm not.
You have a bathroom in there and
Yeah, I
everything.
got a bathroom.
Power.
Internet. I'm ready to just, you know.
You ever go in on Saturdays and do the paperwork?
No. Saturday weekends, I'm like, I'm just the only way you get me to do something on weekend, it better be an emergency. You just got. There's no way around it.
Or unless you're like really busy and just.
It's just crazy. Well, you know, I've run across some and it's like, man, this is the only time I can get it done. Can you work it out?
4 times a year. 4 Saturdays a year.
I don't want to even ask my guys to do it. I'm like, we work hard enough Monday through Friday.
Sometimes work till 5.
In the spring and summer, it can go a little bit longer sometimes. Sometimes it can be from sun up, sundown. Sometimes it can get that way.
Do you find that customers are different now than they used to be?
Like in which way?
More, not demanding, but just can't do anything on their own or something.
I'm glad that some of them can't do anything on their own. Well, here's what I've learned about my customers. The more they trust you, and the more you take care of them, that they get so comfortable that they think you could do anything for them.
I think that's my problem, and they.
And you can.
I can, and I'll figure out a way.
You won't say no.
I won't say no.
You won't say no.
No.
I've heard some good things about you.
Oh,
Matter of fact, somebody was talking to you, and did I go do it? I cleaned some windows, and they were talking about you coming in there and says, "Oh, I can tell you what it is." You gonna say, "Really?" Remember when Sue Sharp sold her house?
Yep.
Well, her daughter and son-in-law.
Yep.
You come in, and you know what? Hey, you call your number and says, "Hey, we ain't taking nothing else until da 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 da."
Yeah.
Man, that's sweet when you can say that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And he says that you took it and took care of her.
Yeah.
You know. And
Well, is Jim Sharp's daughter. What are you going to do? He was a good friend of mine.
that's what he was telling
Yeah.
me. He was saying, you know what, that Jim would spend time with you, and
We went to lunch every January.
That's what he-
specifically.
he told me a story
Yeah.
and map out what.
Yeah, he'd always
What's
say.
your goals?
He'd always say, "Dee, where do you see yourself in 5 years?" It's always 5 years,
5 years.
not 2.
You keep working like
It's
that.
always
You
5.
see yourself in glory.
Yeah,
That's where
yeah.
you see yourself.
I figured the day he quit saying, when he started saying in 3 years, I thought, well, if he ever did that, he'd be thinking I was getting old.
Yeah, but he told me that story. I'm like, that is so awesome.
Yeah, you just try to. You can just do so much, though. You can only get so many places in a day.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing that I get into. If somebody says, "Dee, we want an outlet under the coffee table." Now this is 6 months before they're even going to build the building, right? And so I think, okay, we're not going to put that outlet in till after they move in and put the coffee table in. So I've got a note: put the outlet in under the coffee table after they move in. Nobody else knows that. Only even they forgot about it.
But you know.
I know it. And so I can't even delegate that, because who's going to remember that? That's my job. And that's very important to the person.
Mm-hmm.
Something else may not matter, but that outlet's important. And you can't put it in now, or you'll have made a mark on the hardwood floor, because they may decide not to put the coffee table there. So I have to remember all of that. You can't delegate that.
Right.
So let me ask you this, Lawrence.
Now, don't ask me no trick question.
Well, here's what's. I always call you Lawrence.
Well, yes.
But when I'm telling somebody, I always say, "Have you talked to Cotton?"
Cotton.
But when we're talking, I say Lawrence.
I don't know why.
I don't know why
You just
either.
call- hey, look,
I
Dave.
think it's because everybody calls you Cotton.
Because they're
but
going to
I
be
call
payers.
you
Those
Lawrence.
going to be payers. So they call me Cotton. It don't matter.
Why is it always? Does other people call you Lawrence?
Yes. Well, the ones that first meet me, and I've had some of them just freak out and say, "Don't call him Cotton." You know.
Yeah.
I call a black man Cotton. I'm like, well, what's wrong with that? And they're like, what do you mean? That don't bother you when they call you Cotton? I'm like,
That's your last
that's
name.
my last name. Say, do what? Well, I thought it was just a joke or something, you know, because.
You know Short,
Being
the
black.
wallpaper hanger?
Yes, Don Short.
Don Short.
Don Short. The big tall
for
guy.
years,
Short.
for years, I thought Short was his his nickname.
No, that's his last
I
name.
know it. I didn't know it. Isn't that
You
ironic?
call him Shorty. He
I-
might be
yeah.
wanting to say, what?
He's a nice guy.
He is. Hey, man, hey, I've been around him for a long time. Yeah, because he hangs wallpaper. I'm cleaning the windows, and you get that glue on the wall.
That's right, 'cause
so I got to get it off.
Because y'all were there about the same time on
Yeah,
construction.
just pretty
jobs.
much so. Pretty much so. But you know, people are getting away from wallpaper. You know, but
They've been away from.
but
it.
it's so good to see. When I see Don Schwartz, man, it's like, man.
You know, he does not have a cell phone.
Well, he's still driving that old
Driving the van.
van. You know, Don just has not come up.
Does he work with one of the Turners? Doesn't one of them
I don't
work
know
for
if
him
he's.
still?
I don't. You know, the Turner boys. I don't know what's going on with the Turner boys. You know.
Charlie.
Now Charlie.
Charlie,
now
yeah.
That's the daddy. Was Charlie the daddy?
I'm thinking he passed away.
Yeah, you know, he ended up with Parkinson. But
Yeah.
you know what? He was a nice
I
man.
liked him.
You talking about hanging some wallpaper.
Oh yeah. Accommodating.
Yeah.
You know, do you think one of the secrets to your success has been hard work, price, or accommodating?
Combination.
You couldn't give any one of them more weight? Because I've always found you to be I've always found you to be somebody that you didn't have to feel embarrassed that, hey, these people want this window done, or something. It was. I didn't feel like you were going to judge the job or something. Does that make sense?
Right. And basically, it's almost what do you want? I mean, that's accommodating. Yeah, I mean, that's how I see all my customers. What do you want? It's not what I want, but what I want, what you want.
I always tell people, they say, Dee, what do you think? I say, it's up to you. You got to listen.
Your dollar, you know. And as far as price wise, we're not the cheapest. I just tell you. I mean, even though some think we probably are, but
Were you the cheapest in the beginning?
oh Lord. Yes and no.
I mean, you had to be at times just to fill in, right?
I would do whatever it took to get the job, so I would lowball it. I'll be honest. Some
Yeah.
of my, you know, or I was afraid that that they wouldn't pay me what I really needed to do the job. And I think sometimes I still struggle with that. Sometimes it's almost like, you know, it's hard for me to really charge exactly what that job is actually worth.
Yeah, people, if you charge too much, they won't do it.
Yeah.
But if you charge a little under, you can actually get them hooked on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
But
if you had
if when you charge them under, then all of a sudden you got this stinky price that will follow you, and if they tell somebody else, and then you find yourself doing that,
yeah,
and it's like, man, you get no further. You know, I know of guys that will charge $6, $7. Man, you can't do that. You know, and anybody listening right now, I'll tell them this. When we pull up clean your windows, they need to take in consideration there might be 2 or 3 vehicles that pull up that got to have insurance on them, got to have gas on them, and you got 2 or 3 guys. You know what? You got to pay them. You got to have workers' comp. You got to have liability insurance on it. and all that tax, you being a bit.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? When you factor all that stuff in, man,
There's almost
you can't
nothing left.
you can't charge no $6 to come up and clean those storefront window. You just can't.
You couldn't do it.
Yeah, no, and I can remember times that you know what, because you wanted the job so bad. I mean, the window washers out here used to be my enemies. I mean, man, it'd be like, you competition, man, you got to go down. That's just, it's almost like a hamburger place. You got to go down.
Almost like the 4.
Yeah.
You're talking about the
Yeah, you just got to go down. We're taking you down because I got to be king. I got it right.
Yeah.
And you know what? And then you look at the bottom line at the end of the day, and you're like, that was stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember one time, and Steve and I have become good friends. Steve Primeshine, and I don't know if Steve is still washing windows, but I can remember a time we didn't like one another. I mean, there was no love lost at all. Window washer, we're mean to one another. Not anymore. I'm not that way anymore.
Yeah.
But I can remember.
He must be out of business.
Well, that was the goal, is to get them out of business, But I can remember one time this dentist office call, and they call me every year, and I just got stinking tired of it, because Steve would go in there and he'd just bid that thing for nearly nothing. And I bid it. I never did get the job, but they called me every year to bid.
Well, they bid it every year?
Yeah, every year.
And
they only clean the stinking thing one time a year. I ain't gonna call them out. It's no customer I got right now. But if they call, you know what? We ain't gonna do this.
Yeah.
But I can remember, my goodness, and Joe would say, "Are you going up there again?" Because look, it cost me gas and my time to go look at it and bid it. And I can remember, they never even called back. Well, and so I called them back. Well, who did you give the job to?
At least they could call back.
And they say so-and-so, and every time that joker beat me out every time, D. He beat me out every time. And I'm like, what in the world is this dude doing? So one day they called, want to bid. And Joe asked me, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going down there. I'm going to get that job. I'm getting that job. I don't care what I have to do. I don't care if I could sell myself. I'm getting that job. Man, I bid at that thing so cheap. I mean, we worked for free. It took 3 of us to go down there and clean that thing.
You had to get lower than he
Dude, I got in the dirt. But I got the job. And I got the check. But it cost me to do that job. But I was determined. He is not getting this job this time.
And then the next time, he would have had to have been less than that.
But the next time, I ain't going to do it next time, because the next time coming, in other words, you break that cycle. You got to break it,
That's actually a business move, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And here's what I hate about business. Some guy goes in there and he low balls everything. He just want to make money. He's not paying any taxes.
If he gets hurt,
he ain't got no insurance. No. He got no liability. He got nothing but a squeegee and a stinking rag. And I ain't throwing off on none of them. Yeah. But he ain't got no good equipment. He might have a spray bottle. And you know what? He just walks in there. I could do it for $5. Well, what I'm gonna do? You know what? I got several people I need to pay. I got a payroll to meet. I can't charge $5. And then so when the dude decides he ain't gonna show up, they call us. And you know what they expect us to do?
Do it for the same price?
Same price. I can't do it. So it's a shock to them. It's a shock to them. So I can't do that. Well, he didn't show up. Well, I know why he didn't show up. He can't afford to show up. But at one point in time, he could afford to show up, because you know what? He ain't paying. He don't pay nothing out.
It costs.
He don't have no license. He don't have no business phone.
Somebody that's dependable is worth more.
You're worth more. You're worth a whole lot more. But what they say is like, you know what? I learned this lesson a long time ago. Remember the Watsons? Yeah, John was the sweetest one.
Yeah, he was a nice guy.
Now, and then there was Jack.
I knew John.
No, but now Jack, I believe it was Jack. Jack run the one over here on Tip Top.
I thought that was John.
No, John was pretty much over him. He was at the village. And
Wasn't there three?
Now there was Joe. There was Joe. Now